The stars were quiet that night. No war, no movement. Just the dark space and blinking lights of distant ships. In the middle of it, the Hopebringer, Earth's largest hospital ship, floated through the silence. It was a peaceful ship. No weapons. No soldiers. Only doctors, nurses, and patients. It carried over 2,000 injured people, survivors of battles from across the galaxy. Everyone knew the Hopebringer was neutral. Even enemies respected it. No one dared to attack a hospital ship. But something strange happened. At Earth Command, a young officer named Alira Mace sat at her console. She was working the night shift, quiet, boring, routine. But then, her screen blinked red. Unusual signal detected, her system said. Alira frowned. A signal from where? She tapped her screen. A slow, broken message appeared. It was coming from deep space. From the last known location of the Hope Bring. Her heart beat faster. The signal was old-style radio, something no one used anymore. She played the message. Static filled the air, but then she heard something. They're coming. No mercy. Then silence. Alira sat frozen. She played it again. It was weak, scattered, but it was a distress call. She rushed to her supervisor. "Sir," she said, "I received a signal from the Hopebringer. It sounds like a warning." The officer barely looked up. Probably an error. That ship's systems are old. Maybe a glitch. But the signal came with emergency code 77, she said. Now the officer raised his eyebrows. Code 77 meant immediate danger. He stood up, walked over, and checked the data. This came 5 hours ago. Why didn't we see it earlier? I don't know, Alira whispered. It looks like it was blocked. The officer turned pale. He reported to Central Command. Within minutes, the screen in the room lit up. A tall man in a black uniform appeared. "This is Admiral Connell. You are to forward all signal data to my channel. Do not speak of this outside this room." "That is an order." The screen turned off. Alira stared at the screen, then looked at her supervisor. "Sir, what's going on?" He sighed. "Forget this ever happened. Understood?" She nodded, but inside, her mind was racing. That night, Alira couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about the voice. The fear, the broken signal, something was wrong. The next day, she checked the Hopebringer's status. The system said, "Ship not found." She searched again. Same result. She whispered. How can a ship that big just disappear? No one was talking about it. No news, no alert. It was like the ship never existed. So she took a risk. She contacted her old friend Joran, a pilot on a small scout ship called the Star Chaser. "Alira?" He said on the private line. "It's been months. What's up?" "I need a ride," she said, "and I need it now." "To where?" "To the last place the Hopebringer was seen." There was silence. "You're joking, right?" "That place is near the edge of the forbidden sector." "I'm serious. Why?" "What's going on?" "I think something terrible happened. And they're hiding it." Joran cursed under his breath. "All right. Meet me at Dock 7. Bring nothing. Say nothing." The Star Chaser took off under the cover of a cargo transfer. They moved fast, avoiding Earth's patrols. Within hours, they reached the edge of the Andromeda Void, a dark region filled with old war wreckage and strange energy clouds. "This place gives me chills," Joran said, flying slowly. Alira sat at the front, scanning. "This is where the signal came from. Right here." Suddenly, alarms beeped. "Unidentified object ahead," the system warned. They turned on lights and saw floating metal. Broken pieces of a large ship. They moved closer. "That's Earth tech," Joran said. "That's hospital ship armor." More pieces floated by: beds, medical supplies, oxygen tanks. Alira gasped. Then they saw a frozen body floating outside. A nurse, still in uniform, eyes open in fear. Joran whispered, Who Who would do this? Illyra. Didn't answer. Just then, the system beeped again. Life sign detected. They followed the signal and found a small emergency pod, barely functioning. They pulled it in. Inside was a man, barely alive, blood on his face, breathing fast. They rushed him to the med bay. After minutes of care, he opened his eyes. He looked straight at Illyra and whispered, "Not pirates, not aliens. They were us." Then he fainted. Illyra stared at him. "What does that mean?" Joran stepped back. "I think we need to leave now." "But no, this is bigger than we thought. They killed a hospital ship. That's a war crime." Illyra stood still. "They'll come for us too," Joran warned. Illyra looked out the window and saw a flash of light far in the distance. A ship had just entered the system. Joran cursed. "They found us. Get us out of here." Illyra shouted. The Star Chaser spun and jumped into warp. Back on Earth. No one knew where Illyra had gone, but deep in space, she now had the truth. The Hopebringer didn't disappear by accident. It was destroyed on purpose. And the ones who did it were human. But why? Who gave the order? And what were they trying to hide? Illyra had no answers yet. But she knew one thing. She couldn't trust anyone anymore, and this was only the beginning. The small ship flew fast through the dark, empty space. Inside, Illyra sat beside the injured man, trying to keep him alive. His skin was pale. His breath was shallow. "Come on," she whispered. "Don't die now. Not before you tell me the truth." Joran entered the medbay. "We're clear." No one followed us. Illyra nodded. "Good. We need time. He's still unconscious." Joran looked at the man on the bed. "You think he really saw humans attack the Hopebringer?" "I heard it with my own ears," Illyra said. "He said they were us." Joran rubbed his face. "This is too big. We should go back. Report to someone. Let Earth Command handle it." "They are hiding it," she said sharply. "You saw how they shut down the signal. Someone erased the Hopebringer like it never existed." He looked away, unsure. "I'm not stopping now," she added. "We go deeper. We find out why," Joran sighed. "Then we need to go through the forbidden sector." A chill ran through the room. The forbidden sector wasn't on most maps. Ships that went in never came back. Strange lights. Dead silence. Some said it was haunted. Others said it was a war zone left over from ancient times. Illyra nodded. "Plot the course." They entered the forbidden sector slowly. The space around them looked wrong. Stars didn't twinkle. Time felt slower. The silence was heavy. Joran. "Watch the scanner. We're getting echoes." "Big objects nearby. Ships?" Illyra asked. "Could be. Could be rocks. Could be both." The ship lights flickered. A low humming sound began in the walls. "What is that?" Illyra asked, her voice tense. "I don't know," Joran said. "But I don't like it." Then the survivor moaned. Illyra turned fast. "He's waking up." The man opened his eyes slowly. His lips moved. "You have to leave this place." Illyra leaned closer. "Why? What's here?" "They wait, in the dark." He whispered. "They kill, and no one remembers." Joran grabbed Illyra's arm. "Something's coming. Look." Outside the window, something large moved. It wasn't a ship. It was a structure, a black metal station floating in the middle of nothing. No lights, no signal, just a giant, empty shell. Like a dead star. "Is that Earth tech?" Illyra asked. Joran scanned. "I don't think so. It's old. Maybe older than Earth itself." They approached slowly. The station had a docking bay. Somehow, it was open. Illyra stared at it. "I want to go in." "You're crazy," Joran said. "We need answers." "I'm not risking my ship." "You don't have to," she said. "Just stay here. If I don't come back in 30 minutes, leave." Joran gritted his teeth. You're stubborn as ever. She gave him a small smile. That's why I'm still alive. Illyra stepped into the docking bay alone. Her boots echoed on the cold metal floor. The air inside was thin but breathable. Everything was dark except her flashlight. She moved carefully, checking each hallway. Old signs on the walls were written in many languages, none of them human. Then, she found a control room. Inside were screens and wires. And bodies. Dozens of skeletons sat in chairs, still wearing old uniforms. Their bones were gray. Burned. Illyra covered her mouth. What happened here? She whispered. She touched one of the screens, and it came to life. A video began to play. A human voice spoke. This is Dr. Lynn Sarev. We made a mistake. The device, it doesn't heal. It corrupts. The screen showed a strange black orb. Small, floating, glowing faintly. We tried to study it. We brought it to the Hopebringer. That's when the killings began. Illyra's eyes went wide. The orb was on the Hopebringer? The video continued. It made people see things. Kill. Their own friends. Some said they heard voices. The captain ordered we hide it. But someone wanted it back. Suddenly, a loud metal crash echoed through the station. Illyra turned. Fast, someone or something was moving. She ran back through the halls, heart racing. Joran, start the engine. She shouted through the cum. I see movement out here. 2, he yelled. She reached the docking door just as a dark shadow moved behind her. She didn't look back. She jumped into the ship. Joran closed the bay and hit the thrusters. The Star Chaser flew away, leaving the dead station behind. What the hell was that? He asked, sweating. Something they tried to hide, Illyra said. They took it to the Hopebringer. That's why it was attacked. You think someone wanted the orb? He asked. No, she said. Someone feared what it could do. The survivor spoke again, weak but clear. They called it the Whisper Seed. It speaks to minds. Shows them lies. Turns friends into enemies. Illyra leaned close. And where is it now? He opened his eyes wide with fear. It's missing. Back on Earth, a secret meeting was taking place. In a dark room, a group of high officers sat around a table. The Star Chaser went into the forbidden sector. One officer said, Did they find the station? We believe so. But they got out. The girl Illyra, she's digging too deep. A man in a black suit stood. His face had no emotion. Then it's time we bury her. Just like we buried the Hopebringer. Far in space, Illyra sat beside the window. Thinking. She now had more questions than answers. But one thing was clear. The hospital ship wasn't just attacked, it was sacrificed to keep a secret. A dangerous one. And now that secret was loose again. As she looked at the stars, she whispered, Whatever this Whisper Seed is, someone is willing to kill thousands to keep it hidden. Joran stepped beside her. So, what's the plan now? Illyra turned to him. We find the truth, she said. No matter what it costs. The small ship drifted quietly in deep space. Illyra stood near the medbay window, watching stars pass by. Her hands trembled slightly. What they had just seen, the old space station, the burned skeletons, the strange orb, was too much to forget. Inside the medbay, the survivor lay still. His breathing had improved, but his body was weak. His name, they now knew, was Keel Doran, a nurse from the Hopebringer. Joran walked in, holding 2 cups. You haven't slept, he said, handing one to Illyra. Could you sleep after all? That? She replied quietly. Joran shook his head. No, that station. It was death itself. But this guy, he pointed at Keel, he's our only link. If he dies, the truth dies with him. Keel groaned softly, his fingers twitching. Illyra rushed to his side. Keel, she whispered. Can you hear me? His eyes fluttered open. He looked around, confused, breathing fast. You're safe, she said gently. You're on a scout ship. We pulled you from an escape pod near the forbidden sector. Keel blinked. The Hope Bringer. Alira nodded. It's gone. Destroyed. But we need to know what happened. Please, tell us. Keel closed his eyes, as if forcing his mind to return to the nightmare. It started as a normal day, he said slowly. We were 2 days out from Earth's outer colonies. The Hope Bringer was full, so many wounded. We had doctors working day and night. We weren't even near a battle zone anymore. He paused, his voice shaking. That's when the secret arrived. They didn't tell us anything, just brought in a special crate, 3 guards. Full black armor. No names, no badges. Alira leaned in. What was inside the crate? Keel's eyes widened. We didn't know at first. But strange things started happening. People heard voices. Machines glitched. Lights flickered for no reason. Joran crossed his arms. Ghost stories? No, Keel said firmly. One night, a nurse walked into the medbay and injected a patient with air. Killed him instantly. She had no idea what she was doing. Said she thought she was giving medicine. She screamed when she realized what she'd done. He coughed, his body shaking. Then a soldier attacked his own unit in the recovery wing. Said they were enemy spies. He broke a mirror and used the glass. 5 people died. Alira looked horrified. So whatever was in that crate, it was messing with their minds. Keel nodded. People called it cursed. Then the rumors started. The crate was opened. It held some kind of orb, black, floating, whispering. Joran frowned. Whispering, like making sounds? No, Keel whispered. It didn't speak with sound. It entered your thoughts. Made you doubt, made you angry. Made you see things that weren't real. Alira sat down, her heart heavy. And the people who brought it? They weren't Earth Command, Keel said. At least not official. They gave no names. They stayed away from the rest of us. One night they disappeared, just gone. We checked their rooms empty. It was like they were never there. He looked at the ceiling, lost in the memory. That's when the attack happened. Alira's eyes widened. Who attacked you? Black ships. No markings, no warnings. They boarded us fast. I saw one of them up close, human, but cold. Like a machine. They didn't ask questions. They killed everyone. Joran asked softly, why kill doctors and patients? Keel's voice broke. They weren't there to kill people. They were there for the orb. They went straight to the vault. Took it. Then they started the fires. He looked at Alira, his face pale. They wanted no witnesses. Alira swallowed hard. Then how did you escape? I hid in a laundry chute. Got to the escape pods. Launched before the engines blew. He looked down. I shouldn't have lived. For a moment, the ship was quiet. Only the low hum of the engine filled the air. Alira stood. This is bigger than we thought. A secret artifact. Mind control. An attack by someone inside our own race. Joran asked, who do we tell? Earth Command already tried to bury this. We don't tell them, Alira said. We show the people, everyone, across the galaxy. Keel looked afraid. They'll come for you. They already are, she said. But we're not stopping. Later, Alira sat alone in the cockpit. She began uploading Keel's words into a secure message. A rebel network, a group that spread hidden news, was still active on the edge of the Mars colonies. If she could send them this story, the truth would spread like wildfire. She hit send. Seconds later, the screen blinked red. Transmission blocked. Joran rushed in. We're being jammed. Keel stepped into the cockpit, holding a data pad. I traced it. A ship is nearby. It's them. Outside, the stars shimmered, and then a large black ship appeared from behind the moon. No lights, no signal. Just shadows and sighs. They found us, Alira said. The ship began charging. Weapons, jump drive? She asked Joran, still recharging. She gritted her teeth. Then we fight. The Star Chaser wasn't a warship. It was fast but lightly armed. Alira took the gun controls while Joran piloted. Laser blasts flew past them. Alira fired back, hitting the enemy's wing. They're targeting our engines. Joran yelled, then don't let them hit us. The ship shook violently as one shot landed on the hull. We need a miracle. Joran shouted. Keel suddenly said, there's an old cum buoy nearby. Military. We can send a wide burst signal through it. Coordinates. Alira shouted. He uploaded the location. They flew toward it, dodging more blasts. The black ship followed. Faster, angrier. At the last moment, Alira sent the full recording, the truth about the Hopebringer, the orb, and Keel's testimony into the cum buoy. Message sent. She said. The black ship fired again. The Star Chaser spun into a narrow asteroid field, barely escaping the next shot. We're not out yet, Joran said. But now they can't stop the truth, Alira replied. It's out there. Back on Earth, screens and underground networks lit up. Hospital ship destroyed. Survivor speaks out. Across colonies, people watched the video, heard Keel's voice, saw images of the burned station and black orb. Questions began. Protests rose. Whispers turned into shouts. The truth had escaped, and the ones who hid it were now afraid. The ship was quiet, but not peaceful. Alira sat in the cockpit, staring at the stars. Her hands rested on the controls, but her mind was elsewhere. Behind her, Keel and Joran checked the systems for damage. The last battle had left deep scars on the Star Chaser. A few more hits and it might not fly again, but the message had gone out. The truth was now spreading. Thousands have seen the video, Keel said, looking up from the console. It's all over the Rebel network, Joran nodded. I picked up chatter from Mars colonies. People are asking about the Hopebringer. Some are even demanding answers from Earth Command. Alira gave a small smile. Good, that's exactly what we wanted. But her smile didn't last long. Now they'll come harder, Keel said quietly. They won't stop until this secret is buried again. We won't give them the chance, Alira said. We keep moving. Joran turned to her. Where? To the outer drift, she replied. I need to speak to someone. An old contact from my academy days. She works in intelligence. Unofficially. Unofficially? Keel asked. She deals with things that don't exist on paper, Alira said. If anyone knows who really ordered the hospital ship destroyed, it's her. A few hours later, the Star Chaser landed on a dusty moon station hidden under a thick layer of rock and ice. No one lived here except ghosts, smugglers, and spies. Alira walked into the cold, dimly lit bar, where shadows moved but faces stayed hidden. She spotted a woman at the far table, silver hair, long coat, sharp eyes. Alira Mace, the woman said with a half smile. I thought you died. Not yet, Alira replied. But someone's trying hard, the woman nodded. I'm Agent Nara, and I already know why you're here. Then you know what I need. Yes, Nara said, and you're not going to like it. She handed Alira a data chip. This contains orders signed by a special branch of Earth Command Section 9. They're off the books. No rules, no names. Alira inserted the chip into her reader. The screen showed secret files missions, black ships, and one horrifying. Title: Project Whisper Seed. Section 9 recovered the orb years ago, Nara said. They kept it hidden until it started reacting. It woke up. And then it spread. They brought it onto the Hopebringer, Alira said softly. And they let everyone die. Nara looked at her. They wanted to test it. See how it affected minds in a closed environment. A hospital ship full of weak and wounded was perfect. Alira's stomach turned. They used the patients as test subjects, Nara nodded. That's what Section 9 does. No mercy, no laws. Only results. Keel spoke for the first time. Then we expose them. Nera shook her head. You already did. That's why they're moving faster now. What do you mean? Illyra asked. Nera pulled out a small device and turned on a live feed. Images. Appeared riots on Mars, protests on Luna, crowds gathering outside Earth Command buildings. People want answers, Nera said. But Earth Command's response is worse than silence. They've activated Operation Veil. What's that? Joran asked. Martial law, Nera said. Total control. Kill the truth before it spreads further. Illyra felt her pulse rise. So they'd rather start a war than admit what they did. Nera nodded. That war has already begun. On the way back to the ship, Illyra walked in silence. She felt the weight of everything: lives lost, lies told, and the dark future ahead. Joran broke the silence. What now? We hit them back, Illyra said. Not with guns. With truth. Keel raised an eyebrow. Truth didn't stop them from blowing up a hospital ship. Illyra turned to him. We're not alone anymore. The people are awake. But they need something more. They need proof. Joran stopped walking. You want to go back? To the Hopebringer's wreckage, she confirmed. There might still be black box recordings, something they can't deny. Are you crazy? Keel said. That place is probably guarded now. Or worse, full of Section 9 traps. I know, Illyra said. But we don't have a choice. They reached the wreckage 2 days later. The area was surrounded by silence. No signals, no patrols. Just floating debris and the broken metal skeleton of what once was the most peaceful ship in space. We'll go in fast, Illyra said. Just grab the data core and get out. They boarded the ruined ship through a torn section of the hull. Inside, the corridors were twisted and blackened. Bloodstains still marked the walls. Keel moved carefully. I used to walk these halls every day. Now it feels like a grave. They reached the command room. The black box was still there. But something else was. Footsteps. Joran raised his weapon. We're not alone. From the shadows, black armored soldiers appeared. No faces, no voices. Just silent, deadly motion. Section 9. Run! Illyra shouted. They fired back as they grabbed the data unit. Joran was hit in the arm but kept moving. The chase through the broken ship was tight. Illyra turned and blasted a support beam, collapsing the ceiling behind them. They jumped into their ship and launched. They're following, Keel warned. Illyra activated the hyperdrive. Stars stretched into light. They were gone, back in orbit. Around a friendly moon, Illyra plugged the black box into the system. A video played. It showed everything: the orb being opened, the patients screaming, doctors losing control. Then, the black ships arriving. Silent death. She looked at Keel. This is it, he nodded. They can't bury this now. She uploaded the video to the network. Across the galaxy, the truth spread like fire. On Earth, Section 9 collapsed within days. Leaders vanished. Commanders resigned. The people had won a battle, but war was still out there. The orb was still missing. Illyra sat with Joran and Keel, watching the stars. We told the truth, Joran said. Now what? Now, Illyra said, we find the orb. Why? Keel asked. Isn't it better lost? Illyra shook her head. No, because if we don't find it, someone else will. And somewhere, deep in uncharted space, the whisper seed waited, still whispering. The stars above Mars burned red with unrest. Protests had grown louder. Military leaders had gone silent. Across the colonies, whispers of the Hopebringer massacre and the truth behind Section 9 had broken free like wildfire. Illyra watched from a distance, seated inside the Star Chaser, floating quietly in the asteroid belt beyond Jupiter. She had done it. The truth was out, but something still felt wrong. People are finally asking questions. Joran said, sitting beside her. You started a wave, Alira. No, she said softly, her eyes locked on the screen. We just scratched the surface. Keel entered the cockpit. His arm was still in a sling, but his voice was steady. We've lost contact with the Mars Rebel station. Alira looked at him. What do you mean lost? No signal, nothing. It's like they were erased. Joran frowned. Erased, like the Hope Bringer. A cold silence followed. Alira leaned forward, pull up surveillance feeds from Mars orbit. Keel worked quickly. The screen flashed. Camera after camera came online, then stopped. Then another screen flickered. Then it showed something. A massive black ship hovered just beyond Mars' upper orbit. No name, no flags. No mercy. Alira stood up slowly. Is that one of them? Keel whispered. That's not just one. That's part of a fleet. They watched as 4 more black ships appeared behind the first, moving in silent formation. Sleek, armored, like shadows carved from metal. Joran stepped back. I've never seen designs like that. That's not Earth Navy. That's not even Coalition tech. Alira's voice was low. It's the Black Flag Fleet. Keel nodded slowly. They were a myth, rumored to be Earth's ghost armada. Ships with no names, soldiers with no past. Now they're real. They're not just hunting us anymore, Alira said. They're starting something bigger. The screen switched to a live feed from Luna. Black ships were seen landing quietly outside city limits. No announcement. No declaration of war. Just presence. A message. The next day, the Star Chaser made contact with a hidden rebel cell near Neptune's moon, Triton. The leader was an old man named Captain Soren, once a general, now a hunted voice. They're preparing for full control, Soren said. Silent occupation. They'll say it's for protection. But soon, freedom will be a memory. What's their goal? Alira asked. To crush resistance before it forms. And to take back the Whisper Seed. Keel leaned forward. But the seed is lost. Soren's face turned grave. Not anymore. He pushed a file to the screen. It showed grainy images of a group carrying a black crate. The same kind seen on the Hope Bringer. 2 days ago, a science team on Vesta Station found something buried under the ice. They sent out a private signal, but they never made it off the moon. Alira's breath caught. They have it again? Yes, Soren said. And the Black Flag Fleet is guarding it now. Joran spoke up. Then we can't attack. We'd never get close. Alira was silent for a moment. Then she said, no. But we can expose them again. She turned to Soren. I need your help. Not ships, just eyes. Hack the fleet's data. Link. Tap into their communications. We show the galaxy what they're protecting. Soren nodded. It'll take time. They run deep encryption. Alira's voice was calm. Then we buy you time. Later that night, Alira sat alone in her quarters. A small screen in front of her played a recording. It was her own voice. Recorded weeks ago, before they found Keel, before the wreckage, before the truth. She had been scared, unsure, angry, but now her voice was firm. She knew who she was. Not a soldier. Not a rebel. A witness. And witnesses don't run. The next morning, alarms rang across the ship. Joran yelled from the cockpit. They found us. Outside, 2 black ships had dropped from hyperspace, weapons armed. They're not sending warnings, Keel said. They never do. Alira replied. She raced into the chair beside Joran. Can we outrun them? Barely. Then we run, she said. But not just anywhere. Plot a course to Vesta. Joran blinked. What? That's suicide. No, she said. That's where the seed is. And if we're going down, we do it with purpose. The ship blasted forward, engines glowing. The black ships followed, like hunters chasing wounded prey. But Alira had a plan. As they neared Vesta, the asteroid's surface came into view. It was gray, cracked, and marked with strange ruins. "We're entering their field," Joran warned. 3 more black ships guarding the station. "Don't engage," Alira ordered. "Just stay fast." She opened a live channel. To everyone. "All colonies, all outposts. This is Alira Mace. We are being chased by the Black Flag Fleet. They are guarding something. Something dangerous." She streamed live visuals: black ships, ruined stations, sealed crates. "You wanted proof? Hear it." Suddenly the ship shook. "We've been hit," Keel shouted. "Shields failing." "We don't stop," Alira said, gripping the console. The feed went dark. Then it flickered back, not from Alira, from inside one of the black ships. Someone inside had turned on a hidden camera. The image showed a lab, soldiers, scientists, and a whisper seed floating above a metal stand. It pulsed, black and silver, alive. People across the galaxy saw it. Liv. Joran gasped. They can't hide it now." But Alira wasn't smiling. She saw something else. A child. A small alien child, locked in a glass room, surrounded by soldiers. The same species they had heard about weeks ago. The healer species that had been on the Hopebringer. "They're not just protecting the orb," she whispered. "They're experimenting on that child." Keel's face went pale. "It's not about war, it's about power. The seed doesn't just corrupt. It connects." Alira nodded. "And if that child can control it," Joran finished the thought, "they could rule every mind in the galaxy." The final part of the stream showed guards reacting to the leak. The screen cut off, but it was enough. Earth Command went into panic. Colonies began rising. The name Black Flag Fleet now meant something real. It meant terror. It meant control. But it also meant weakness. Because now the shadows were in the light, back on the Star Chaser, as they escaped once again into deep space. Alira sat in silence. Soren's voice came through the comms. "You did it. They can't silence this." Alira stared at the stars. "They'll try. But people are awake now," Soren said. "Then it's time to fight smarter," she replied. "Not just with truth, but with allies." Keel looked at her. "What allies?" She turned slowly. "The ones they locked away. The ones they feared. That child is just the beginning," Joran nodded. "So we're going back for him?" Alira's voice was steady. "Yes, we're going to take back the seed." Somewhere in the cold dark, on a secret ship guarded by shadows, the black orb floated, still whispering, still waiting. And for the first time, it felt something new. Fear. Darkness filled the void where the Hopebringer had once floated, a graveyard of twisted metal and silent memories. But death was not the end. Something was stirring beneath the surface. Alira stood on the bridge of the Star Chaser. Eyes narrowed as she watched the readings from the planet below. "The colony's gone quiet," she said. "No signals at all." Keel checked the scanner. "It's like life just vanished." "But the readings, they're strange. We're picking up low-level energy spikes from the surface." Joran rubbed his chin. "Spikes don't mean much without context." "Could be storms, seismic activity." Alira shook her head. "No, this is something else. It matches the pattern we saw around the Whisper Seed." Suddenly, the ship trembled. A loud alarm sounded. "Impact!" Joran shouted, gripping the controls. "Something hit us." "Enemy?" Alira asked, not sure. Sensors show small objects swarming. The view screen flickered, then showed hundreds of tiny drones, dark and sharp like flying knives, swarming around the ship. "Automated attackers," Keel said. "They're designed to disable ships quietly." Alira pushed buttons furiously. "Activate countermeasures." "We're not going down here." Outside, the drones exploded in bursts of light as the Star Chaser's defenses hit them. But more came. Wave after wave. We can't keep this up forever, Joran warned. Suddenly, a call came through the comms, a weak, distorted voice. Alira. Help. The voice was strange, faint but full of pain. Alira's heart skipped. Who is that? She asked. Can't tell, Keel said, leaning close to the speaker. Listen. The voice repeated. They're coming back. The dead. Rising. The ship shook again. The drones grew thicker. Dead rising? Joran said, frowning. Only one way to find out. Alira said grimly. They landed on the colony planet despite the swarm. The ground was cracked and lifeless, dust blowing in cold wind. The buildings were hollow shells, broken windows staring like empty eyes. Stay sharp. Alira warned as they stepped outside. They moved toward the central city, their footsteps. Loud in the silence. Suddenly, a low moan echoed. Did you hear that? Keel whispered. Alira nodded. We're not alone. From the shadows, figures stumbled forward. Their skin was pale and stretched tight. Their eyes were empty, glowing faintly red. Zombies, Joran breathed. Keel raised his weapon. But how? Alira watched one creature move slow but relentless, searching. They were dead, she said softly. But something brought them back. The faint voice crackled through the comms again. Alira. The whisper seed. Alira's eyes widened. It's not just a mind weapon. It can bring back life and control it. The creatures began to close in. Fight! Alira shouted. Lasers fired. The creatures fell, but more came. They didn't feel pain. They only kept coming. Alira ducked behind a wall. We need to get to the source, she said, where the seed's power is strongest. Deeper into the ruins, they found a large underground lab glowing with eerie black light. Inside, the whisper seed floated over a stone pedestal, pulsing like a heartbeat, and around it, dozens of bodies. Not quite dead. Not quite alive, Alira swallowed. They're using the seed to raise the dead, she said. Joran looked sick. To what end? Keel's voice was grim. An army, a weapon. Suddenly, the doors slammed shut. A cold voice echoed. Welcome, intruders. From the shadow stepped a man, black armor, face hidden by a mask. Alira Mace, he said. You're too late. Alira's hand went to her gun. We stop this now, she said. The man laughed. You think you can stop what you don't understand? He raised his hand, and the dead around them twitched. One of the zombies moved forward. Alira fired, but the bullet passed through it. Was a hologram. Behind her, real zombies closed in fast. Run! Joran yelled. They fought their way back to the ship, dodging undead and traps. Once inside, Alira locked the doors. Blast that place, she ordered. Keel looked at her. We can't just run. We have to destroy the seed, Alira nodded. But first, we expose this. The galaxy needs to know what's coming. As they left the planet, Alira sent a broadcast. This is a warning. The whisper seed is more dangerous than we thought. It raises the dead, controls minds, and creates armies of the lost. The feed showed footage of the undead attack. Joran added, this isn't just about hiding a secret. This is war. Alira stared at the stars. We have to stop it. Before it stops us. The Star Chaser raced through dark space, a small beacon in a vast galaxy filled with danger. Alira sat in the command chair, her face pale but determined. Behind her, Joran and Keel prepared for what was coming. We can't hide anymore, Keel said, checking the weapon systems. The Black Flag fleet is hunting us. And the dead are rising on colonies. Joran shook his head. The galaxy is scared. Fear spreads faster than news. We need to act now, Alira nodded. We need allies. People who want the truth as badly as we do. Suddenly the comms crackled. Unidentified ship approaching, Joran said. Alira stood. Open a channel. A voice answered, calm, but full of authority. "This is Captain Merrick of the Coalition Rebel Fleet. We received your broadcast. We want to talk." Keel's eyes lit up. All eyes. The Star Chaser moved closer to the Rebel Fleet's hidden base near the asteroid belt. Inside the hangar, ships painted with the red and black symbol of rebellion waited. Alira met Captain Merrick, a tall man with a scar over one eye. "We've heard the truth," Merrick said. Section 9 Secrets. The Whisper Seed. The Rising Dead. "We've lost many to their attacks." Alira clenched her fists. "Then you know why we must stop them," Merrick nodded. "We plan to strike back, but Section 9 is stronger than you think. They have ships, soldiers, and weapons unlike any you've seen." "We're ready," Alira said. "Because this isn't just about weapons or power. It's about the future of every living being." Days later, the Rebel fleet gathered near the ruined Hopebringer wreckage. Alira, Joran, and Keel led a small team aboard a stealth ship. Their mission: infiltrate Section 9's main base on the dark planet of Korath and retrieve data to end the war. As the stealth ship slipped through enemy defenses, Joran whispered, "This place gives me chills." The dark planet was a wasteland. Dead trees, cracked soil, and ash-filled skies. Nothing lived here except the secrets Section 9 hid. Inside the base, the team moved carefully. "We're close to the central vault," Alira said, eyes sharp. Suddenly, alarms blared. "We've been spotted." Keel shouted. From the shadows, soldiers in black armor appeared. "Fight or die," Alira said, raising her weapon. The battle was fierce. Laser fire echoed through cold corridors. Joran dodged a blast, firing back as Keel covered their rear. Alira ran toward the vault's door. "We need that data," she yelled. With trembling hands, she hacked the lock. The door hissed open. Inside, a glowing console showed files labeled Operation Whisper Seed, Final Phase. Alira downloaded the files. Suddenly, the base shook violently. "They're destroying the planet," Joran shouted. Outside, massive explosions rocked the surface. Section 9 was retreating, but leaving nothing behind. "We have the data," Alira said. "Time to go." They raced back to the ship as the base crumbled. Back with the Rebel fleet, Alira and Merrick studied the data. Section 9 planned to release the Whisper Seed across colonies, Merrick said grimly. "To control minds, raise armies of the dead, and crush all resistance." Keel shook his head. "They were willing to kill billions," Alira's voice was firm. "Then we show the galaxy, all of it, no secrets left." Together, they sent the files to every major system, screens lit up with truth, Earth, Mars, Luna. And beyond all saw the horrors of Section 9. Protests exploded into uprisings. Earth, command fell. The galaxy was changing. In the final moment, as peace seemed near, a new message came through. "Alira Mace," the voice said, cold and sharp. "You may have won this battle, but the war for truth is just beginning." Alira stared at the screen. "Who?" Joran asked. "Section 9's last leader," she said quietly. "And he's not alone." The stars shone cold above as the Star Chaser glided through deep space. Alira stood at the window, her face hard with worry. The truth had changed everything, but the galaxy was far from safe. Joran entered quietly. "We've lost contact with the Rebel fleet." Alira turned sharply. "What? How?" Keel looked at the comms board, frowning. Signals cut off suddenly. No distress calls, no battles reported. "Sabotage?" Alira asked. Keel nodded. "Looks like someone wants to silence us all." The ship trembled slightly as alarms began to ring. "Incoming ship," Joran said, eyes on the scanner. "Unmarked. No friendly codes." Alira's hand went to the controls. "Black Flag Fleet?" "No." Keel said, voice low. "Something else." The view screen flickered, showing a massive ship dark cold, with no name. It moved fast, blocking escape routes. The cum crackled. Illyra Mace, a deep voice said. The truth you spread has shaken the galaxy, but it is not enough. Illyra clenched her fists. Who are you? I am Admiral Kale, last of the Shadow Council. You have exposed our secrets, but you cannot stop the coming reckoning. Joran growled. The Shadow Council? They still exist? Yes, Kale said. Hidden, waiting, watching. They rule through fear and control the true power behind Earth Command. Illyra stared at the screen. What do you want? To crush the rebels. To claim the Whisper Seed. To bring order by any means. Keel stepped forward. You won't win. Kale laughed. We already control your minds more than you know. Suddenly, the ship shook violently. Kale's fleet attacked. Illyra shouted, Raise shields! Return fire! Lasers cut through space. Explosions bloomed. But the enemy pushed closer. Joran piloted through debris, dodging blasts. Illyra fired her weapons, focusing on the enemy's weak points. We can't hold much longer. Keel yelled. We have to get to that child, Illyra said. He's the key, Joran nodded. The one in the lab with the seed? Yes, Illyra said. If we free him, we break the control. The battle raged, louder and fiercer with every moment. Then a voice came through the static. Illyra. It's me, whispered a child's voice. Illyra's breath caught. Where are you? Hidden on Korath, the voice said. The seed. I can stop it. Illyra smiled, tears in her eyes. Hold on. We're coming. In the depths of the battle, the Star Chaser broke away from the fight, speeding toward Korath. Inside the base, shadows moved fast. The child waited in a small chamber, fear in his eyes but power in his hands. When Illyra and her team arrived, the guards rushed them, but the child raised his hand. A wave of light pulsed out. The guards froze, then collapsed. Illyra ran forward. We've got you. He looked up. The seed is mine now. I will end the war. Back in space, the final battle turned. With the child's power and the rebel fleet's strength, Kale's forces were pushed back. Explosions rocked the enemy ships. The Shadow Council's grip began to break. Illyra looked to the stars, exhausted, but hopeful. We fought for truth, she said. And now may be peace. Joran smiled. A new beginning. Keel nodded. A galaxy shaken, but free. The child held the Whisper Seed gently. It's over, he said softly. For now.